then you will get the work function. Actually work function is nothing but threshold frequency only. But only what we are doing, we are just multiplying that one with a constant frequency only. It's a metal frequency. Every element will have certain frequency. Similarly, metals also will have certain frequency. You see, some light will have certain frequency. That means light means what happened? Electromagnetic radiation. Like what? IR radiation. They will have certain frequency. Similarly, metals also will have some frequency. That frequency, when you multiply with Planck constant, that is called what? Work function. That is only the difference in that. Now, let me take the de Broglie's wave equation today in the class. So, actually, we are explaining the particle nature of the light and also what? Electron. So, earlier we discussed wave theories. Light is having wave nature, but later what happened? Based upon some experiments, light will have not only wave nature, it will have particle nature also in the form of photons. Similarly, electron is also having wave nature and particle nature. But to explain the particle nature of light or electron, we have taken black body experiment. We have taken the electrophoto effect, otherwise photoelectrical effect. These two are explaining black body radiation and photoelectrical effect, explaining what actually particle nature of the light and also what? Electron. Now next we'll take the de Broglie wave equation, which is also explaining the particle nature here. Explaining what actually here? Again, particle nature of matter, isn't it? Particle nature of the matter, that is nothing but what? Electron, isn't it? So de Broglie wave equation, let me take it. So first of all, we'll see in this de Broglie prediction, what is its prediction? Experimentally, it was found that electron beam undergoes diffraction, isn't it? What is the meaning of diffraction? Anybody? Do you know what is the meaning of diffraction?
The bending of light, I think.
At the edges, whenever a light strikes on edges of any surface, it will bend. Okay, that is called what? Diffraction, isn't it? So whenever light is striking on the edges of any surface, it will get bended. That is called what? Diffraction. Diffraction is what type of character actually? Wave character. This is only for wave character actually, isn't it? Diffraction is bending of wave at the edges, isn't it? It is called what? Diffraction. This phenomena has led to development of electronic microscope. Okay, because of this diffraction, isn't it? We have found electron microscope, which is more efficient than what? Microscope. Electronic microscope is more efficient than the microscope, isn't it? So which uses actually what? Wave nature of light. The electronic microscope is using what type of principle? Wave nature of light. Based upon the wave nature of light, electron microscopes we are actually found. Next, electron microscope produces 15 million times magnification of an object, isn't it? 15 million times magnification, zooms what happened? That object actually. Next, this is not necessary for examination point of view, nobody asked that. The wavelength associated with ordinary objects are so short. So for example, you'll take what happened, a pen you take, one, a box you take, isn't it? Their wavelength is very, very less, very short, isn't it? But because of their large mass, because pen is what? In terms of grams, okay? Pen in terms of grams, isn't it? A book in terms of what happened, also want something what? Grams only. So for such type of properties, the wavelength is very less, very less. It is a negligible. It's a negligible. So for this type of properties, what happen? Wave properties will absent. Understood my point here? Wave property absent, cannot be detected. Absent means I want to say cannot be detected. You cannot detect the wave properties of large masses. Understood my point here? Like pen, isn't it? Small book, isn't it? Which are in terms of what? Milligrams. Which are in terms of milligrams, grams like that. Actually. Even sometimes micrograms also, isn't it? So large masses in terms of kgs, in terms of grams, they are in terms of milligrams. They are having large mass. When they are having large mass, what happens? Their wavelength will be very less. So their wave properties cannot be detected. Their wave properties will be neglected. Simple word I'm using, neglected. So wave properties are neglected for what type of objects here? Large masses, which are having very large mass, like kgs, grams, like this, isn't it? It's very important point actually. Next it will come. We have some problem also based upon this. Next. Wavelength associated with electron. Generally what happens? Electrons are having very small size, very small in size. And other subatomic particles. You take some subatomic particles means you can take other neutron, proton, isn't it? They also you can detect because their mass is very small. They can be detected experimentally because they exhibit wave nature. They can exhibit what actually? Wave nature cannot be neglected here. It is having significantly. Wave nature is having significant value here. But the large masses, the wave nature is neglected. Understood my point here? These 2 points are very important to understand this de Broglie wave nature. Everything is what? In these 2 points only. Next. This is the formula which is given by the de Broglie. This is the formula is given by the de Broglie scientist here. What is that? Lambda h. Lambda is equal to h by mv. H is already, you know, Planck constant. Okay. That is what 6.6 into 10 power minus 34 joules into second. M is what? Mass of any object, whatever the mass were. For example, if you are taking electron, mass of electron. V means what? Velocity of electron. Isn't it? For example, if you take pen, mass of a pen, velocity of pen, you can substitute like this. Where P actually momentum. P means what actually? Momentum. Momentum is nothing but a product of what? Mass and velocity is nothing but momentum. It can be deduced from the two fundamental equations. How this equation we got? Let me see here. Okay, by taking 2 fundamental equations. One is Einstein equation, that is E is equal to mc squared. Einstein mass equation, everyone knows this one. The famous equation, E is equal to mc squared. E is equal to energy, m is equal to mass, c is equal to velocity. Now one more equation given by the Planck's equation. Max Planck's actually introduced this whatever the wave theory. Okay, now Max Planck's explain what happened. E is equal to, both are what? Energies only. One is saying energy is equal to mc squared, other one is saying energy is equal to h nu, where nu is equal to frequency. Okay, now this is given by the Planck, this is given by the Einstein. Now what I'm doing, I'm equaling these 2 equations. Okay, when you do equal these 2 equations, okay, now what we get? Mc square is equal to mc square and is equal to hc by lambda. Now what I'm doing, this c and this c will get cancelled here. Now mc is equal to what? H by lambda. Now after lambda is equal to, you send this one lambda here. Now lambda is equal to h by mc. Now this you are calling as what? De Broglie equation. Sometime in examination they may ask, derive the de Broglie equation by using Einstein and Planck equation. So you need to take this small derivation, very simple derivation. It is 2 steps derivation it is. So this is called what? De Broglie wave equation, where c is equal to velocity of light always will be constant, 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. H already I told you many number of times. For other particles, the velocity will be v. If I take what? Light, it will be velocity of light. For other particles, the velocity will be v. For example, if I take light, this will be the formula. If I take other particles, the formula will be lambda is equal to h by m. You can take for electron. For example, you are taking electron. Now this formula you need to take here. In the place of C, what I have to take here? V you need to take. In the place of C, you need to take V actually, isn't it? Then we have, this is the formula for other objects. Now I already told you, mass and velocity, if you take multiplication, mass and velocity multiplication always will give momentum. Momentum is nothing but what? P actually. Momentum. Momentum can be represented as what? P actually. Understood? Next.
Sir,
Yes.
can you please explain once again
Why?
the derivation?
Why?
The derivation I did not understood.
Again, I already recorded the video. I'm recording that one. If you want,
Okay, sir.
if you have any doubt, you can ask me. You can't ask
Okay,
me
sir.
by that. If the derivation
Okay.
have any doubt, you can ask me.
Okay, sir.
Because in 1 hour, I have to finish the portion. If you don't understand, if you want from first onwards, you again watch the video. I will post in YouTube. Okay.
Yes, sir.
In the derivation part, if you don't understand anything is what happened, you don't understand, that you can ask. Right. If you have any problem in the derivation, leave it.
Sir, MC square equals to H into C by lambda, that I did not understood.
Where?
Sir, after yes, sir, by equating the both equations.
You tell me clearly what your doubt here.
Sir, when we equated E equals to MC square and E equal to HV, after that I did not understood.
Beta U is equal to C by lambda. Already number of times I told you. C formula. C is equal to nu into lambda. Number of times I told you. Now E is equal to what formula I told you? H nu, right? Now nu is equal to what you get here? Nu is equal to C by lambda. Now substitute here what happened? This C by lambda here. Now what we get is equal to SC by lambda, right? Understood now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. We'll move to next slide now, okay?
Yes, sir.
Angular momentum of an electron in orbit. Already we discussed in Bohr's model. MVR is equal to NH by 2 pi. M is equal to mass of electron, velocity of electron, radius of orbit. N is what? Orbit number. H is equal to Planck constant. 3.14 constant value. This is generally called what? Angular momentum of electron can be expressed in terms of what? This formula, right? Okay. Next. On rearranging, again I'm rearranging this formula. Okay. Just I will rearrange the formula by in terms of what? Like this. Now what I'm doing, I'm sending this mass and velocity where here. Okay. Shall I send like this? Like this. Now what we get here? 2 pi r. Okay. NH by MV. Understood here? On rearranging this one, what I'm doing here, simply what I'm doing here, this MV, I'm sending over here, right? Now what we get here, and 2 pi we are sending here. 2 pi we are sending here. Now what we get here, 2 pi r is equal to NH by MV. Okay. Now already we know lambda is equal to H by MV. Just now we're discussing that one. De Broglie wavelength. This is called what? De Broglie wavelength. I'm writing here. This is called what? De Broglie's wavelength. It is okay. De Broglie wavelength. Already we discussed this one. Now what I'm doing here also H by MV is there, right? Here also what? H by MV is there. Now put this lambda is equal to H by MV. Okay, lambda is equal to H by MV. Now what I'm doing here, I'm putting this H by MV here in terms of what? Lambda lambdas. In the place of H by MV, I'm putting here lambda. Now write down this one. Therefore, 2 pi r is equal to what we get? N lambda. 2 pi r is equal to what we are getting? One other formula, N lambda we are getting. Now in this way, what happened? What we get here, which clearly says that circumferences, okay, circumferences of an orbit is, this is circumferences of an orbit. 2 pi r is nothing but called 2 pi r is nothing but circumferences of an orbit. 2 pi r of an orbit is an integral multiple of wavelength. Integral multiple of what? Wavelength. Integral multiple means nothing but multiplying with an integer. So it is also what quantization is taking place. It is now quantized here. So earlier we said what? Orbits are quantized. Bohr said what happened? All the orbits are quantized. The energy quantized, everything is quantized. See here also it is, the circumference is also quantized, isn't it? In the last class, we discussed what is the meaning of quantization. So what I'm saying here, the circumferences of an orbit, now an integral multiple of what actually? Wavelength, isn't it? So remember this formula also. 2 pi r is equal to n lambda. Now, we'll take this diagram actually. Now in this diagram, I will just simply put like. Now, if I take the dots, you are observing these dots, no? All you are observing these dots. This generally circular path you are saying actually. Where electron generally what happened? Revolves like this, right? The electron revolves in this. This is called what? Nothing but orbit actually. Orbits. Okay. Now, just observe the electron, how it is moving. The electron is moving like this here. This is the momentum of electron like this. The electron in the orbit, it is moving like this here. Okay. It is moving like this. Now, when it is moving, what happened? Their ends are not touching. Remember, they are not touching here. They are not at all getting touching. The ends. If I take like this, what happened? Their ends will be touched. In that case, what happened? That I will take next slide. Okay, let me complete this one. What happens in the form of equation? Just to take this equation. Now, 2 pi r circumferences is equal to n lambda. Just now we got this one. Such an orbit exists according to the Bohr's model. Quantization of angular momentum. This is the actual existence of the orbit light. This is the orbit. Just now I told you this is the orbit actually. Next, both ends of wave meet each other without crossing. Isn't it? Here, this one. Both ends of wave meet each other without crossing. This one. Isn't it? Like this. They're crossing without meeting, without touching, they're getting crossing actually. We will see in the next slides that one. The above figure, both ends of wave meet without crossing, then they are said to be in phase. They are said to be in phase. Such in an orbit is possible, then 2 pi r will be n lambda. Then we can take this formula, circumferences of orbit will be n lambda. When wave meet without crossing, wave meet without crossing, like this, in this way, then orbit is possible. It follows perfectly. Angular momentum is quantized. It means mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi and follows this formula. Everything correct. Then if it cross like this, if it cross in this manner, okay, in this manner, if it crosses like this, isn't it? They are not touching with each other. They are not touching with each other here. But if I take like this, they touch each other. In that case, 2 pi r not equal to n lambda. That we see in the next slides. Okay. Now, above figure, wave fits around the circumferences of the circular orbit, perfectly obeying what? 2 pi r is equal to n lambda. This is due to what? Constructive interference. Do you know interference? Anybody? Interference. This will get in the physics actually. All these will get in the physics. Structure of atom, they are also there. Anybody, what is interference? Nobody. Nobody knows. Interference.
Don't know, sir.
Don't know.
Sir, when something strikes on other object, right?
Yes. See, for example, if I take what happened.
So when an object comes with contact with other surface of object.
Yes. So leave it very simple. I can explain here. For example, this is a wave, okay, moving in this direction. One more wave is also there like this. One more wave is also there. Now both waves are touching each other. So the wave depth, what happened? Increases. Height or depth. If I take like this, if these two are what happened? Interference takes place. Interference is where taking place. It is also interference only. Now it will get more depth. Now. It will get more height now. The intensity of light, that wave will be increased. When two waves are added like this, or in this way, they are added, what happened? Interference will take place. The intensity, the depth or height of the wave will increases. This property is called interference. You are placing one book on above book. What happened? The height will increases. Understood or not? Same book you are placing on another book actually. This is called what? Constructive interference. Okay. Constructive interference means what? Plus and plus adding. Otherwise, minus and minus is adding. Because the waves are shown as a plus and minus. Okay. In the chemical bonding, we'll discuss everything in detail. But I'm saying here what? Plus and plus. Same sign of waves. Minus and minus. Same sign of waves. Or what happened? Interfering with each other. Then what happened? The depth will increases. The height of the wave will increases. The intensity will increases. This type of property is called constructive interference. Now, when electron is moving in this manner, isn't it? Just now we discussed that one. In this way, they are not touching. See, they are meeting without crossing here. Then which type of interference takes place here? Constructive interference takes place. If the electron, isn't it, in the form of wave nature, meet without crossing, isn't it? Without crossing, then we are getting constructive interference. Next. One more time. If you take in this manner, now 2 pi r is equal to n lambda in this manner. Such an orbit does not exist according to the Bohr's quantization of angular momentum. Both ends are what actually of with cross each other. That means what happened? They're touching each other. They're touching with each other. Actually, just a minute. In this case, what happened? They're now touching each other. They're touching each other. In that case, what happened? The 2 pi r not equal to n lambda. The 2 pi r is not equal to n lambda. In that case, we are going to get the destructive interference. Isn't it? We are going to get they are meeting, crossing each other. Cross each other like this. They are meeting with cross each other. That case, what happened? 2 pi r is not equal to n lambda. 2 pi r is equal to not equal to n lambda. Therefore, we can call destructive interference. Destructive interference. Actually. What is destructive interference? So, will we see again? This is wave plus sign. This wave is minus sign. This is what? Plus sign moving like this. For example, you take like this. A wave is moving like this. Okay, this is a one wave. Second wave is moving like this. Second wave is moving like this. Now it is having plus, plus, plus. Now this is having minus, minus, and minus. Now both are adding. So we get it? No wave. Now this is called what? Destructive interference. Destructive interference. Now in this case, orbit does not exist here. In this, wave does not fit around the circumferences of the circular orbit, thus not obeying what? This formula. This is called what? Destructive interference. This type of orbit, what happened? Does not exist. Does not exist. Okay. Now this type of orbit does not exist. So this is about the orbit explanation actually. Now the de Broglie wave equation is applicable for small particles like electrons. I told you in the beginning of class, the V lambda is equal to h by mv formula will useful for only what? Electrons, protons, neutrons, atoms, molecules which travel with very high velocity as they are having very small mass, isn't it? Something around 10 to the power of minus 9, 10 to the power of minus 10. Like that if they are having, then we can consider this one, isn't it? So these are only, that means de Broglie wave equation applicable for only what? Small size particles such as what happened? Electrons, protons, etc. Now de Broglie wave equation is not applicable for bigger objects like what happened? Football, ball you take, volleyball, baseball, all are balls only, isn't it? Because you play with balls most of the time, right? You can take anything, isn't it? Which is having what? More than micromass, 10 to the power of minus 7, minus 6, minus 5 like that. which travel with very low velocity. Ball moves, what happened? Highest velocity of ball, if you observe what happened, highest velocity of ball, maybe what happened? 100 kilometers per hour. Maybe what happened? 100 kilometers per hour. Otherwise, what happened? 150 kilometers per hour. Isn't it? If Shoaib Akhtar is bowling, what happened? It may reach what happened? 100 miles per hour. Not more than 100 miles per hour, isn't it? So, which travel with very low velocity, and these are also insignificant even if they travel with high velocity because of their high masses, isn't it? By using a mission, if you put that one in high velocity, but they don't agree. Why? Because they're having what? Higher mass here. So what I mean to say is that higher mass, isn't it? Higher mass always do not exhibit de Broglie wave equation, right? Now let me take this problem. So if I say what happened, lower mass is exhibiting, higher mass is not exhibiting, you are not understood. You can't understood that one. I will take a problem and explain that one. What will be the wavelength of electron and football? So I'm calculating the all of you please listen carefully. I'm calculating the lambda of electron, lambda of the football, which travel with 1/10 of velocity of light. So I have to take how much speed here? 1/10th part of velocity of light. Its mass of electron is 9.1 10 to the power of 28 grams. Otherwise 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kg also you can take. And what will be that of football? 0.1 kg. So this will be 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kgs. Now very simple problem it is. Very, very simple problem. Now what is the formula we need to take? Lambda is equal to h by mv. This is the formula we are using here. So mass of electron is, we have took already. Mass of football also we got here. Now, so convert this one because they are saying what happened, grams. No, you are saying they given in terms of grams. So we'll take grams only. Okay. So convert this one also into grams. Kg you are converting into grams by multiplying this one with what? 10 to the power of 3. So you are going to get what happened? 100 grams. So mass of the football is what? 100 grams. Okay. If I say 0.1 kg, what happened? We can't understand. 100 grams will what happened? Easy to understand actually. So mass of electron 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus 28 grams, and mass of the football is 100 grams actually. Right? Next. Velocity of the football. What they said actually? Velocity of electron and the football. What they said actually? The velocity is only 1/10th part of velocity. We can't take 3 into 10 to the power of 8. Isn't it? Otherwise 3 into 10 to the power of 10 centimeter per second. You can't take this one. Why? Because they are saying 1/10th of this part. How to calculate 1/10th of this part here? Very simple. Divide that one with 10. Divide this one with 10. You will get 1/10th part. Okay. Now how much it is? 3 into 10 to the power of 9 centimeter per second. I have taken in terms of centimeter. Why? Because if I take mass in terms of grams, you have to take V in terms of centimeter per second. If I take mass in terms of kg, the velocity must be in terms of what? Meters. This you need to understand actually, compulsory. Now I got velocity of electron also I got, velocity of mass also I got. Mass of electron also I got. Now what is the formula? Lambda is equal to h by mv. H is equal to 6.626 into 10 to the power of minus 27 ergs I have taken. I am not taking joules. Now you remember why I have taken here grams, you see. If I take mass is equal to gram, okay, V is equal to centimeters per second, then H will be 6.6 into 10 to the power of minus 27 ergs, which are actually called CGS units. These are actually called CGS. Now, if I take mass equal to kg, now velocity will be in terms of meter, and H will be in terms of joules. 6.6 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joules, isn't it? H is equal to how much here? 6.6 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joules. Understood this one? Because this is only important. Most of the students, they are doing mistake here. They are taking grams, but H they are taking 6.6 10 to the power minus 34 they are taking. So once if you take in terms of grams, velocity should be in terms of centimeter, H will be in terms of ergs, nothing but 6.6 into 10 to the power minus 27. Just yesterday class I told you 1 joule is equal to how much here? 10 to the power of 7 ergs. Just only I told you that one. So convert that, right? Now, you are getting, after substitution of this H value, how much here? This value. Substituting H value, mass of electron I substituted, and velocity of that electron, 3 into 10 to the power minus 19. 1 by 10th part of what? Velocity of light. 10 to the power of 10 centimeter seconds. Now, how much you are getting? See, 10 to the power, wavelength 10 to the power of minus 8 is significant value only. The significant only. Compared to that one, it is significant. Okay. Now, let me take for ball in terms of angstroms it is. This is in terms of what? Angstroms. Okay. When angstrom is equal to how much? 10 to the power of minus 8 centimeter. Understood here? So, in the place of this one, what I can take here? Angstroms I can put. Okay. 1 angstrom is equal to how many centimeters? 10 to the power of minus 8 centimeters. Therefore, in the place of 10 to the power of minus 8 centimeter, I can put here angstroms. It is significant value. No problem for us. Now, let me take for the football. Again, I substitute H value in terms of eggs, in terms of grams here, in terms of here centimeter. Now, the value I got here, you see, 10 to the power of minus 38 centimeter. Now, convert this one into angstroms here. You are going to 10 to the power of minus 30 angstroms. So, 10 to the power of minus 30 means how many zeros you have to put after 0 here? Points. You have to put how many? 30 zeros we have to put here. That is highly insignificant value. It's a very, very small value. Insignificant it is, isn't it? It's an insignificant value. So, it cannot be observed. Can you watch this size here? Impossible. You are struggling to watch 10 to the power of minus nanometer. You are struggling to watch now. Under a microscope, you are struggling to watch 10 to the power of minus 9 nanometers here. How can you watch 10 to the power of minus 30? Is it possible? Impossible. It is cannot be observed here. Hence, it's highly insignificant value. Understood here? So when you take large mass, what happen? The values will be what here? Insignificant. Understood here? Next, let's take, this is about the de Broglie wavelength. So again, I will repeat in 2 sentences here. First thing is that this explains only for what? Smaller particles, not large particles. Second thing, it explains the circumferences of orbit, constructive interference and destructive interference. Okay, you can elaborate. Again, you watch this video. I think here only, I think small, I have done one mistake, I think. All of you, just to here only, here this one. Okay, here actually this part I have taken here. Here just observe here. Constructive interference. This part you observe here. Actually, they are not touching here. This part. This is called what actually? Constructive interference. Now, this one. This is called what? Destructive interference. This one is called what? Destructive interference. Destructive interference. Only this you can correct this one. Remaining. Okay. Now let me take here. Any doubts you are having in the de Broglie wavelength equation? You speak out. If you have any doubts regarding the de Broglie wave, just you will get the problems in this one. You have to substitute the H value, M value and V value.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, while taking velocity of, while converting 1/10 of the light, sir, you took 3 into 10 to the power of 10 instead of taking 3 into 10 to the power of 8. Why, sir?
We have already elaborated. You are done. You are not listening here. You see, I see actually. If I take M, mass is in terms of grams. Mass in terms of grams. Okay. Then the speed you need to take like this, centimeter per second. Now the velocity of light in terms of centimeter, 3 into 10 to the power of 10 centimeter per second. So this value I have to take. If I take what, then H value will be for this one will be how much here? 6.6 into 10 to the power of minus 27 ergs into second. So this is the data. If I take mass in terms of grams, the speed must be in terms of centimeter per second. That is 3 into 10 to the power of 10 centimeter per second. Now, if I take mass equal to in terms of kgs, for example, football, if I take in terms of 0.1 kg, then if I take football in terms of 0.1 kg, I would take like this. Speed is equal to meters per second. That is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. Then H value will become 6.6 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joules into second. If I take football as 100 grams, if I take football as 100 grams, then the speed of the light will be 3 into 10 to the power of 10. If I take football as 0.1 kg, both are same only. If I take football as both are same actually. Football as a 0.1 kg, the speed becomes 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. Now what they said actually, take only 1 by 10th part here. Now 1 by 10th part means how much I have to take? 3 into 10 to the power of 10 by, I would take here 10 only. 1 by 10th part, isn't it? Understood here?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay, right. Okay, leave it this way. I will move to what Heisenberg uncertainty principle is a very important one. What is Heisenberg's uncertainty principle? Now this also explains what the particle nature of what Bohr's model. Now let me take what is this uncertainty principle. Uncertainty principle is the consequence of dual behavior of matter or radiation. Matter or radiation. Radiation means electromagnetic radiation like UV rays, IR rays, microwaves. They comes under radiation. Matter means what they comes under matter means what happened? Anything a particle, any particle comes under a electron is a matter, proton is a matter, isn't it? Light is a radiation, isn't it? But light will have both dual nature. But general, I am saying, general looks, if you observe what happened, a ball is what? Matter. Electromagnetic radiation is what? It's type of radiation actually. Generally, they will have wave nature. They exhibit most of the properties will be wave nature, domination by the wave nature, and matter will dominated by particle nature. Actually, they will have dual nature. They are having dual nature, but domination by the matter is what? Particle nature. Domination by this electromagnetic radiation is having what? Wave nature. So radiations dominates what? This type of wave natures. Understood my topic here? Right. Next. What is this Heisenberg principle? In examination, they are asking the definition. Definition is very, very simple here. Definition very simple. It is impossible to determine simultaneously at a time. Simultaneously means what? At a time. The exact position and exact momentum are nothing but velocity of fast moving particle like electron. We can easily determine position and momentum of large size particles. For example, ball. Of a ball position we can easily determine. Ball momentum also we can easily determine. But small particles like electron, which are something what happened very lesser size, 10 to the power of minus 10 meters like that. Their position, momentum, at a time we can't calculate. For example, if I want to calculate the exact position, I will get uncertainty in momentum of electron. If I get exact value of momentum, then I will get the uncertainty in the what? Position of the electron. So at that time, same time, we are unable to calculate position as well as what? Momentum of electron, isn't it? It's very difficult for us. So this statement is called what? Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Understood? Right. Next we move to what? नहीं सर, आप लेते क्लास कब लेते हैं?
आप कब तक लेंगे?
एक 15 मिनट तक, 10:30 10 मिनट्स 10 मिनट्स
की 11:30 से बायो है शायद.
अच्छा हाँ,
तो मैं अभी लेके छोड़ता हूँ थोड़ी देर.
ओके
मुझे सिर्फ डाउट क्लियर करना. सविता मैम के पास आना थी.
हाँ सर.
मैं लेके
mathematical expression of Heisenberg principle given like this. Delta X, uncertainty in the position. Delta P, uncertainty in the momentum. H already you know, Planck constant, and pi is nothing but 3.14. Now, where is momentum is equal to mass into velocity, isn't it? So you can also express in this way also. Mathematically, we can take this formula or this formula we can take. Delta X into delta P greater than or equal to H by 4 pi, or delta X into M delta V greater than or equal to H by 4 pi. These two formulas are called as Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Simple statement is very, very simple. At a time, simultaneously, you can't determine position of electron and momentum of electron, isn't it? That is called what? Heisenberg principle. I will send this mass here, then we get one more formula. This is the third formula, three formulas. If you remember this formula, both we get here. Now, delta X is nothing but uncertainty in position, uncertainty in momentum, uncertainty in velocity of the particle. If the position of electron is known, okay, the position of the electron is known with high degree, high certainty you got here. Accurate you got, position you got accurate. You are calculating the position of electron accurate. Uncertain, delta X is nothing but uncertainty. Uncertainty is very, very small. That means whatever that uncertainty, that wrong value, that is what very, very small. That means you have got accurate value. For example, the position of electron, you have got something 3 into 10 to the power of 8, otherwise 3.0001 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second you got. It is not correct. You take 2.01 something otherwise. You got like this. Highly accurate value. In this uncertainty, maybe what 0.000 something one like this. Then the velocity of electron will be large uncertainty. That means you will get some wrong value in the velocity. Something agar velocity of electron, if it is what something what happened 3 into something 3 into something what happened 10 to the power of 5 meters per second. You may get something 2.7 into 10 to the power of 5 meters per second. How much uncertainty you are having? 0.7 meters per second. Okay, so what I mean to say is that if you calculate exact position of electron, at the same time you will get some wrong result where in the momentum, velocity of electron. Similarly, if you calculate exact accurate velocity of electron, you are calculating accurate velocity of electron, then what we get, the position of electron will get uncertainty, isn't it? For example, the position of electron, exactly what happened from radius it is something what happened 1.1 into 10 to the power of, isn't it, minus 10 meters from the radius. Okay, but the value you are getting is something what happened 0.9 into 10 to the power of minus 10 meters. That means in the position you are having some uncertainty is there. You got some wrong result you got. Why you got wrong result? Because you have calculated exact velocity of electron. With accurate you calculated. Then you get inaccurate. Where you get here? In the momentum. If one is accurate, other will be definitely what happened? Inaccurate. At same time if you calculate it. Now if one determines the position of electron accurately, that is delta X equal to 0. What is the meaning of delta X equal to 0? Accurate position. There is no uncertainty in this one. Delta X is equal to 0 means what happened? It's accurate value. There is no wrong result in this one. Accurate value. For example, you are getting something, for example, the position. You are getting what? 1.1 into 10 to the power minus 10 meters is the position of electron. You are getting 1.1 into 10 to the power minus 10 only. Then how much change you got? Nothing, 0 only. How much difference you got? 0 only. The same value you got here. For example, I'm saying you should get 100 marks. In the examination, you should get 100 marks in the chemistry subject. You got 100 marks. So there is no difference. You got accurate 100 marks here. For example, if you get 91 marks, yes, you got some 9 difference you got here. This is the 9 marks you got difference here. So accuracy means what? Delta X will be always 0. If you get accurate result means what happened? Uncertainty, the delta will be 0 here. This is what delta X meaning actually. If delta X equal to 0, what happens? Let me see. I'm saying in terms of mathematical equation. If delta X equal to 0, what happens to the formula? So I will take this formula like this here. This formula shall I take here? Already you know this formula. And how you got this formula? Delta x into delta v. You take momentum, no? Right. Delta m is equal to h by 4 pi. Now what I am doing here, you in terms of you take like this, m into delta v take here. Now delta v is equal to what we get? H by 4 pi. You take this one here. Delta x into m. Send like this. You got this formula. Now what I told you, delta x equal to 0. That means you got accurate position of electron. You got accurate position of electron. Exact position of electron. Then delta x equal to 0. Now if you take 0 here, the value will be what here? Infinite value. Now delta v becomes here what happened? Infinite value you are going to get. Where in the delta v? That means the velocity of electron is now become highly uncertain because the value got infinite you got. So the uncertainty in the velocity you got here infinite here. Very large value you got. The uncertainty in the velocity got very large. Why? Because so if one determines velocity accurately, then delta v becomes here what? 0 here. Then delta x also will become, you see here, I have taken now delta v is equal to 0 now. The uncertainty in the velocity I have taken 0 now. That means accurate value we got here. Then uncertainty will becomes what? Delta v equal to 0 now. Now the position is becoming what? Delta x equal to infinity. So very simple to understand here. If we calculate position accurate, then uncertainty in the position will be what? 0. Then uncertainty in the momentum will becomes infinite. Very large difference you are going to get in the position. So to determine the uncertainty in position or uncertainty in momentum, one should use smaller dimensions that like electrons. So this principle only works for what? Electrons only. It should have less mass like electron and should travel faster than electron. If I take anything, that should be faster than an electron. Possible only for electromagnetic radiation because they are having what? Very small wavelengths here. Light with smaller wavelength, then that of electron should be used to know the position of the momentum here. If position is determined accurately, then momentum becomes what? Inaccurate here. That is, there is uncertainty in its determination. Now let me take some problems here. Significance of uncertainty principle while taking some problem. Now it rules out the existence of definite paths or trajectories of electrons and other similar particles. The trajectory of an object is determined by its location and velocity at various moments. Very simple, I will explain. I am saying what happened. This is the nucleus and this one is the orbit, right? So we have this type of path is present around the nucleus? No. We don't have the trajectory. Trajectory means what? The path on which electron will move. What is the meaning of trajectory? The path on which electron moves actually. We don't have a definite path actually. We don't have any definite path. If you have any definite path like this, like a road, we are having a road to travel like this. If you have like this, what happens? We can calculate both velocity and momentum of electron and what? Position of the electron at a time. But actually what happens here, we don't have this type of path like this. Well-defined boundaries are not like this. There is no well-defined boundaries are not like this. If you have well-defined paths, what happens? Definitely we can get that one. Wherever electrons are there, the location of electron, isn't it? Based upon the location of electron, we are calculating the velocity. Okay? So the trajectory of an object is determined the location only. For example, this is the nucleus. Electron is locating like this. Like this. Because of it revolves, no? When it revolves like that, what happens? The electron may be found here. The one single electron only, that electron may found here. The electron may found here. The electron may found here. The electron may found here. So based upon this, you are making a trajectory actually. Because we don't have any well-defined path like this. So wherever the probability of electron is there, that you are taking as orbital here. So I have more density of electron here. Then you are taking this is the orbital actually. Understood here. So for subatomic particles like electron, it is not possible to determine the position, velocity simultaneously at any given instant to an arbitrary degree of precision. Thus, we cannot talk about the trajectory of an electron. Don't say something what electron is revolving around the nucleus in a circular path like this. We can't say like this. What we have to say, electron location, wherever the electron location is there, that can be taken as what actually what? Wherever the electron is there, that can be taken as what? Orbit actually. Understood here? Next. Just a minute. Hello? Hello? Okay. Now we'll do what next is. We'll take a problem here. Within 2-3 minutes, we can conclude here. We'll take a problem here. A golf ball is having, what is the mass of the golf ball? 40 grams. Moves with a speed of 45 meters per second. The speed is given. How much speed? 45 meters per second. The speed can be measured with accuracy. How much they get? 2% accuracy. Calculate the uncertainty in the position they are asking. So what is the formula actually? So let me take the formula first of all. Before that formula, let me take the speed here. Take 2% only they are saying. 2% only we have to consider in the uncertainty. So for example, if 45 meters per second, it is 100%. We have to take how much percentage only? 2% only we have to take. 45 meters per second is for 100%. 100% speed it is. In that 100% speed, how much I have to take here? Only 2% speed I have to take here. 2% speed. Then what happen here? 2 into 45 divided by 100 is equal to how much here? 0.9 meters per second. This is the uncertainty in the speed if I take 2% of accuracy. Okay, right. Now what is the formula here? Delta, position we are calculating, delta x equal to h by 4 pi delta v into m. How we got? This is the main formula is what? Delta x into m into delta v is equal to h by 4 pi. From this, what I am saying, this one I am sending here, we got this formula. Now substitute h is equal to how much we have to take? Anybody? What is the value for h here?
6.6.
6.6 into 10 to the power of minus
27.
very good. Minus 27 ergs we have to take. Why? Because mass taken in terms of grams. Here only most of students are doing mistakes. If mass taken in terms of grams, isn't it? You need to take, isn't it? H value in terms of ergs, and this one also in terms of what actually here? Centimeter. Okay. If I take this one in terms of grams, this should be in terms of centimeter, the speed, and the H value in terms of x actually, right?
And speed should be in meter per second only.
Yes.
The speed should be in meter per second.
Just that only I'm saying no here. If I take, I'm writing here. Shall I write here? If I take mass, I'm writing here. Mass of the ball. Mass of the ball. If I take 40 grams, the speed here becomes here. What happens? Speed is equal to how much you have to take here? 0.9 into 10 to the power of 2 centimeter per second. Understood? I have to convert it coming centimeter per second. Then the H value is equal to 6.6 into 10 to the power of minus 27 ergs. Okay, but if I take mass in terms of kgs, that is nothing but 40 into 10 to the power of minus 3 kgs. Then the speed is equal to, you have to take 0.9 meters per second. Then h value will be here what? 6.6 into 10 to the power of minus 34, like this. So if I take in terms of kgs, speed in terms of meter, h will in terms of joules, like this, 10 to the power of minus 34 joules. If I take in terms of grams, the speed becomes centimeter and h value in terms of x. Understood here?
Yes, sir.
Now you do this problem, all of you just note this problem and do this. Your mark sheet, and this one is a CBSE registration form. Now what you have to check here, your name, your mother name, your father name, then after that Aadhaar number, and this admission number also you are having, otherwise I will give that one. This is the admission number I think you are having. Yes, you can check by using this admission number. After that your subjects, whatever the subjects you are having. Okay. This one is no need, I think. Only your admission number when you taken the admission date. 17 means I think in the Madura. Okay. Do slowly, no hurry. Do 2-3 times checking that. Now after such, I have taken here joules. Why I have taken here joules? Anybody? Why I have taken 10 to the power of minus 34 joules into second? Because mass taken in terms of kgs. Mass taken in terms of kgs. Now you should take h value. Now this will be 0.9 only. This will be pi value will be 3.51. This will be 4 pi. This will be delta v. And this one will be mass. Mass equal to what? 40 into 10 to the power of minus 3 kgs. Now we are getting something answer like this. 10 to the power of minus 33 meters. Now tell me, this 10 to the power of minus 33 meters is significant or insignificant value? Tell me. 10 to the power of minus 33 is
Insignificant, sir.
It's a insignificant because you have to put after the 0, 33, the 32 zeros and 1. 32 zeros you have to put actually, isn't it? So putting 32 zeros something, 0.0000 something after something 32 zeros, but insignificant, like anybody saw how many marks you got means if I say something what 10 to the power of minus 33 marks I got. Is it called significant value? Not. 10 to the power of minus 33 means almost it is 0 only. The value you got here, 0 only here. So this value is highly insignificant. So that is the reason what happened. This is not work for what? Ball, which is having what? In terms of grams. It should not in terms of grams. It should be in micro. Otherwise something 10 to the power of minus 9 values you should have actually. Okay, this is about the uncertainty principle. So in examination point of view, what you have to remember, what you have to practice here. De Broglie formula. Lambda is equal to h by mb. Then after that what happened? The 2 pi r is equal to n lambda. Then destructive interference and also what? Constructive interference. These things are very, very important. And the problems related to this formula. Secondly, in the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, the statement is very, very important. Delta x, delta v into m, that is equal to h by 4. In physics, you are going to see 2 pi actually. In physics, they say about h by 2 pi. In chemistry, we use h by 4 pi actually. Don't get any confusion. In chemistry, we use h by 4 pi only in this case.
Why, sir?
That is based upon the calculations. That the calculation they use in physics, what happened? 2 pi only. Right? And you have any doubts?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Today?
No, sir. No.
Tomorrow you have holiday. No, tomorrow you don't have any class. So do one daily holiday only, but tomorrow you don't have any class. So what you do, you make a notes, write the de Broglie formulas, and there everything is correct. You take that formulas and do some problems. You take NCERT textbook and search for some problems on that one. Whatever the problems on Heisenberg principle, whatever the problems on what de Broglie principle, you do that. Okay, this is only today's class. If you have any doubts, you can stay with me. Otherwise, You can sign out now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Parent का sign देना.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Tell me.
Sir.
बोलो बेटा.